Today's subject is the Passap color changer. How on earth do you get that thing on and off? Jack will show us all.
We are looking at a Passap 4-color changer, and before we get any farther, I want to assure you this machine is waiting for its turn for a deep cleaning. This is not the way I plan to leave my toys.
Okay, Passap Duomatic 80. This is the section with the word color on it. And this is its position on the machine. And of course, here's the changer that catches and receives the bobbins and turns them loose. And this is the activating cam that these screws, there should be a metal plate just like this on the back side with threads to match these screws. And it slides.
Are you saying it's underneath here?
Right, it slides into this rail right here. And you get it to the position you want, which is right up next to the color changer, and then you tighten these screws up, and it pulls that plate to the lip of this rail on both sides, and that's what holds this in its place. And if I get a chance, we'll take it loose and slide it off and let you see that.
Now we're on the other side of the machine. A moment ago, we were over there. Now we're on the side where you don't usually knit from.
That doesn't say Passap Duomatic like it does over here. And here's our activating cam that we'll take off, and you can actually, no, that's not it. I thought you could almost see it, but you can't see the plate that's underneath there. But this is the activating arm for these, and that's what this does, is set up so it'll catch that. But yeah, we're gonna, both this plate, this section, and the section on the other side bolt on because of this screw and the screw underneath here being extra long. Can you see that one where I'm pointing to?
Yeah, we can see the filthy, dirty screw head.
We're not looking at the dirt. We're just looking at the screw.
Oh, right. Nobody's looking at the dirt.
Looking at the dirt. But underneath here, that's an extra long screw, and I'm pretty sure that on both sides of the bed, I made sure there were extra long screws in those positions. On the machine I just got through working on, I had all of these off for cleaning, and that's one of the things I made sure of, was that the extra long screws went back into these positions. Some of them have them on both ends, some of them only have them on one end. I think it's best to put the long screws on all 4 parts, and it comes with special hardware.
So the long screws would not have been on your original beds, but if you buy a 4-color changer, with it come extra long screws.
Okay, this has been my experience. I've had to put these extra long screws in your beds to make them accept the color changers.
Now, it might partly be because mine are all antiques. These are all old pinkies converted to accept.
Right.
So it may partly be that, but in any case, it takes a longer screw.
Right, it's got to have a longer screw for this to have something for the nut to bite up on the back side.
We have the machine turned upside down. Well, it's on its end now. You are looking at what is normally under the right end as you sit and knit, and Jack's holding a spotlight on the area. Go ahead.
All right, this is back in the day when I made these little washers. You can see 2 different pieces of metal to go under the nut, because if you'll notice there's a slot right here. So you start these nuts on, then the color changer slides down these slots, slide down on whatever back area you have, and I made these. Don't look at those, just like you're not seeing the dirt.
But you probably have the correct washers.
Yes, I do. And I'm going to show you the hardware that
what I mean is the other people watching this video.
You're right. But now I have the right hardware.
Okay.
This is a long time ago. And this was put the color changer on this evening with what you have. Now on this side, you'll notice I did a little better. There's a frame washer. And those actually work really well. And of course, this is the back of a button, just like that is. But it's slightly larger. Again, there's a slot underneath here that lets this slide down over the partly tightened. All right, this is old school. This is a wing nut that fits these extra long nuts, and it would go in the place where the little hex nut is on there now. And that makes it easy to take your color changer on and off. I think if I remember correctly, this is a 5.5 millimeter nut which is most people don't have. But this matches that, and so that lets it go on and off. But you still got to have the
Does this
washers.
come with it, or do people have to buy it separately?
No, this would come as the old style hardware to put these on with.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to go to the new world. In a perfect world, when I have lots of extra hardware. And this is what I just put on the bed that I assembled. All right, this, if you'll see the little hole in the middle, actually threads right up on that long bolt. The middle of this threads on the long bolt.
I want to try to get it focused better, so I'm going to move my hand. It's got an unusual shape, yeah.
Right, and notice there's a slot in the end of it. And so you put it on, and you tighten it up with a flat tip screwdriver on that screw. Then, here's the bomb right here. This nut.
Put it in my hand.
Okay.
It's where the focal length is.
This outer circle goes in the circle that is made by the color changer slot. There's a circle at the end of the slot. This exactly matches it, and here's what we do. This is on the nut, the bolt, and this screws right up on this piece. And again...
Take it off and let me get you from another angle. No, take it off of where you just screwed it on.
Okay. All right, here's the piece we just put on the screw. And in just a second, I'll pull one of those off and we'll do this.
Okay.
But there's this. This is the piece we just put on. We tightened it up with that slot. Then we put our color changer on, and then this threads on the outside of it all the way up on till it locks the color changer into position.
Okay.
And this is the new stuff that would come if you got a color changer from somebody now.
That was intact.
Right. Or if I went through and did a cleaning just like I did for the Passap.
This was put together 20 years ago out of bits and pieces, the one that I have.
Right, right. But this is the hardware that I bought a bag of used hardware. And that's what we do. In just a second, I'll get set up so we can put these on this color changer and let you see how that works.
I'm having to hold the camera manually, so I apologize if it wiggles. This is the only way we can get a view.
Right. Now, if you notice the hodgepodge is gone, here's the piece I was telling you about. I'm going to put it into place. Now, these screws are flat on two sides so that they will... Well, I'm going to back up in just a second and get my hand out of the way. These screws are flat on two sides so that they're locked in when they go into the bed. And what I'm doing on the other side over here is I've got a thumb pushing the screw out this way so that it'll catch in its locked position. And I can screw this up on here. It goes on very smoothly. It's not a problem. And then we take our screwdriver, and this is the part you can see through my hand. And we finish tightening it up this way. You can tell it's tight because it doesn't try to move under my thumb anymore. Tra-la. Now, if your bed is set up correctly and you have these overnuts put on the screw, then this is all you need to put your color changer on. Start this on, slide the color changer up, and if you'll notice, this is what I was telling you. The circle of the color changer matches this inset on this knurled nut. And here we go. You put it on there and you thumb tight it, and then what I like to do is take your screwdriver on one side only and just give it a little bit of a turn. If it's at least a little bit wiggly, then just give it another little bit of a turn. Don't try to tighten this down.
Yeah, we are tightening plastic, so
Right.
over-tightening could crack it.
Well, it's not only that, but what will happen is this knurled nut will lock on to the overnut, and then it'll both come off at the same time. See, right now...
Oh, we wouldn't want that. No, you
Right.
want the two-step process.
Right now,
You can remove
this
them.
one's tightened, and this one's hand tightened.
We can't see.
That's why it's got these little knurled thumb grooves, so it should be hand tight. It's just, I know some people don't tighten by hand like I tighten by hand, and that's why it has got slots on there. So you
In
just
case
put,
you need a little
right,
leverage.
screwdriver in one side, that way you can't really put a lot of torque on it. But this is how the color changer goes on the machine. Just like that. And if you move over here, not like that, like this.
However, I will say this has worked for a number of years.
A number of years. It's not as many as I've been around, but it's been like this for a long time.
I will enjoy my new hardware when this gets cleaned.
Okay. Okay, I've loosened these screws, and you can see this is loose. Now, here's the situation is there's a stop right here and right here. One goes against the edge of the bed, and one goes against the color changer. So normally this would slide off before, off or on before this is in place. But to get around that, since it's me, and I can get away with this, I'm going to take these screws completely out. Do not try this at home. I'm a trained professional.
And the whole point of this is so they can try it at home.
Okay, never mind. But if you'll notice, see that plate? It's actually a rod. I'm going to slide it out just a little bit. See, it's a rod.
Let's remove the fuzz. That's not part of the mechanism.
No, it isn't. But we're going to clean this up anyway. But you can see it's a rod.
I see a bright silver rod under there.
Right, and it's threaded to accept these.
Okay, your hand's totally in the way.
And it totally wants to rotate, which is why you do not want to take it off unless you're going to take it out. This is what we're talking about. The screws thread right into there, and I'm moving away from the camera. The screws thread right into the rod.
Let's put it on my hand.
Okay.
So there's a clear background.
Right. And you can see these are the stops I was telling you about. Okay. So it goes on like so. This is to the base of the bed. This is to the color changer.
Yeah, both of these, as you are seated normally at the machine, are on the far right.
Yes. In fact, if the camera can follow me, I'll set it into place right there. And this is the stop. And you want that up against the side of your color changer so the transition of the carriage is smooth back and forth.
Oh, and it seems to me, I remember that one time mine worked loose a little bit, and there was a little hitch, and the whole color changer malfunctioned as a result.
Well, and it's a kerfluffle. If you'll notice, there's a little teeny tip on there, and that's what's designed to go into the edge of the color changer and stop that from happening. There's a groove.
But if it loosens, it backs off.
Yes,
and
it
then
does.
You have a bump.
It comes this way, and you can see there's a gap in there that forms. But this is your whole mechanism. This on the top.
Point to what's on the top?
This metal plate on the top.
Mm-hmm.
The rod on the bottom, and the screws go all the way through from the top. That's why you start the screws.
Oh, the screw that's in there now would actually in real life be there.
Yeah, give me a second and we'll put it into place. All right, I've put this together as you would have it put together to go into the machine, getting rid of the crud. Notice there's a gap between the base of the color changer and the little rod. And before you ask, the ends of the rod are exactly the same. Spacing is the same, so this rod can go in any direction as long as these three screws line up and start in there. But see, the screws are just started, so you've got plenty of play in it.
So you don't tighten it up till it's in?
No. And that's what allows you to come around here with the color changer off and slide it. In fact, we can go... No, we can't go to the other end. But, yeah, with the color changer off, this rod...
The rod